of God, original and inexhaustible.
Jai. So, how I'm going to do this is that I'm going to look at all the words and phrases that are being spoken in this verse, and then we will try to go deeper into what this means and how we can relate to the whole message with some more depth. So the first word that comes in this word is Mahatma, Mahatmanaha. And there are two definitions given. First, those who are not deluded. And then Mahatma, the literal meaning, the great souls. Right? Second part, Mahatmanastu, Mam Partha, O Partha, Devim Prakratim Ashritaha. So Mam Devim Prakratim Ashritaha. Those who take protection of, who are under the protection of my divine nature, Krishna is saying. Third part, what do? Who take the protection of divine nature? Bhajantya Ananya Manaso. They are fully engaged in Krishna's devotional service. Why? Because Gyatvam Bhutadim Avyayam. Because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original, Bhutadim, and inexhaustible Avyayam. So, there are great personalities, great Jivatmas, great souls. They take shelter of divine nature of Krishna. They do that because they know that Krishna is the Supreme. Right? So let's get to the last part first. And I was trying to meditate upon, do I know Krishna? Right? So the first word of meditation for today I picked up was Gyatva. What does it mean when Krishna says, because they know me? Because of course, I feel like I know Krishna little bit. But Krishna is saying that if you know me, then you will engage in my devotional service completely. But there are times in my life when I'm not either engaged in devotional service or I'm not even aware that I should be doing devotional service to Krishna. So what is that reason? So Krishna answers that. Okay. I know that, Krishna is okay. Theoretically, I know he's original and inexhaustible. Then why do I not fully engage in devotional service? So Bhagavad Gita itself answers this in previous chapter. Trivira guna mayer bhaver ebhi sarvam midam jagat mohitam nabhi janati mamebhyam paramavyayam. Translation. Can you read, Prabhuji?
Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible.
Avyayam, once again. So once again, Krishna is saying that there is something. What is that? There is delusion. Delusion because of which the three modes of this material world, right? They spell something on us. Because of which we don't know Krishna. Even though we feel we know Krishna, there is a difference between that depth and somewhere this element of delusion is coming. Because of which sometimes I may engage in Krishna's service. Sometimes I may feel, it's Janmashtami, I will go to the temple. Then other times, maybe I'm not going at all. Or I'm engaged, but not so much. So this word, Gyatva, is to know Krishna. And I thought we can go into the next level of this thing. Okay. Do I know Krishna? When it starts on a very high level, very simple definition. What is the very simple definition? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you. So I know that Krishna is supreme. That means he is above everything else. Yes. Then many people think above everything else, there is this light and whatnot and all confusion. So Srila Prabhupada declares that no, he's a person. He is supreme, but he's a person on the top, at the end of everything, the final word, he's a person. And then somebody may say, yes, there are many personalities. I know there is this, there's that, there's this, there's that. So all the gods that you have heard of, those gods also, he is the Godhead. He is the Supreme Godhead. For some people, this is news. I didn't know that Krishna is above all the other personalities. So who is saying that? So this is established in the Shastras in several places. So I know this theoretically. Now my position is somewhere, maybe I would take a very mundane example, comparable to, let's say, in White House, there's a president, and let's say I'm a very humble servant, so I'm like a cleaner, a janitor over there. Now, somebody may say, Are, who can know God? There are so many things Lord is doing. He's creating universes, and how he's, dealing with the entire existence in their multifarious activities. Who can understand? It's inconceivable how much you can understand. But this janitor, his situation is like, he would go walk over to some dignitary in the White House. He will say, Are, I want to know when he is not in this Oval Office. Then they will say, why? Why do you want to know? Are, I just want to do my service. Right? I want to go and clean when he's not there. So you just tell me that part so that I can go and do my service. So similarly, for us, we want to know everything about Krishna, not because he's just some president or some country, but because we know that if we go deep to understand Krishna, right, that it is said, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam. Suhridam means he is a friend of sarva bhutanam, of every living entity. That means somebody is telling me that Krishna is the most intimate friend of mine. But I don't know that he was the most important, closest friend of mine. So one part, which is different from maybe a janitor working in a presidential office, is that I am interested in what Krishna is doing. That is one. But out of everything that I want to understand about Krishna, the topmost is I should know about my relationship with Krishna. That is the most important. And that is very much necessary for my service, my relation. You just tell me that first. Make sure that this is strong. If I do not understand how he created the universe or 1,000 universes, that is still not as, big a problem as if I don't know what is my relationship with Krishna. So here there is a relationship. I'm unaware of that. So then the question comes, can I speak to him? I know that he's sitting in my heart. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita. It says, Sarvasya chaham hriddi sanivishto. I'm sitting in everyone's heart. So that means if I want to speak with Krishna, I can just internally speak to him through my thoughts, through my prayers. I can talk to him. But now the question comes, when I am speaking to him, what is his reply? Sometimes you imagine, right? I get less marks. Now I have to go home. I'm already thinking, hey, I got very less marks. Now a time, one scene is going through my eyes. A time will come. I will take this in front of my mother. And then I'm expecting all sorts of different responses that she can give, right? She would say this, she would say that. Why? Because I have seen her do that in the past. So based on that, I would do something like that, right? So now when I'm trying to speak with Krishna, how is he going to respond back? How would he react? Would he say, Arey, this is useless guy? Nonsense. How would he react? How do I know that? So do you know what is the mind of Krishna? There's something which is said, it is the mind of Krishna. What is that? Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is said to be the mind of Krishna. So if you want to understand when you ask something to Krishna, how he will respond to you, then you should be very interested in the message of Bhagavad Gita. This will tell you that how your best friend responds when you speak with him. Okay. Then in my relationship, the other part was, okay, now there's a problem. Okay, I'm trying to learn this, Bhagavad Gita. And if he wants to communicate with me, how does the Lord communicate? How does Krishna communicate? Do you know? Anybody? Any options? Maybe there are different ways Krishna communicates with us. Can you throw some things, some answers? How Krishna communicates with us? Paramatma. First, top answer. Chaitya Guru within, right? Paramatma. And is there any other way Krishna communicates? Through his representatives. I heard Guru and devotee. Next top answers. Guru, Sadhu, right? Shastra. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. Sarvasya chaham hriddi sanishto matta smrityar jnanam apohanam cha. Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo vedant krit. Vedanta Krit, all the Vedas, all the Shastras, they are coming from Krishna. They are the opinions of Krishna, and opinions of Krishna are unchangeable. They are eternal. They are permanent, and they are powerful. So Shastras. So when Krishna wants to communicate with us, either he communicates from within, or through his devotees, through Guru, or through Shastras. Right? There is one more way Krishna reciprocates, communicates. And I'm sure if we would, in the interest of time, I'll give this answer out quicker. This is when we offer prayers. When we offer prayers, when we offer bhoga to Krishna, and our prayer is very intense, you are meditating on a particular mood, particular bhav, or particular question, and then you offer with great sincerity the prasad to the Lord, bhoga to the Lord. Bhoga is any sort of enjoyment in this world. In Sanskrit is called bhoga. So when you understand that this world belongs to the Lord and all the objects of enjoyment actually belong to him, and with that consciousness you offer it to him, then he very mercifully approves of it. It is like I have gone to a party, and that party, that home belongs to the Lord, and I walk over to the refrigerator and there's a mango over there. If I don't tell the owner and I eat it, it is like stealing. But if I take it to the owner and I say, hey, I found this very nice mango, this is for you, my Lord, what would the owner, the person who's throwing the party, he would say? He would say, Arey, you take it. You take it. That is prasad. That is Lord's mercy. Just acknowledging, being grateful for what he is in reality. So when we take that mercy, that prasad, and you honor that, there is a very strong relationship between this external object that you consumed inside. This is the strongest source of origin of your thoughts. What thoughts will come in your mind, that is governed by many things, what you are seeing, what you are hearing, and what you are eating. And the strongest one of them is what you are eating. So when you eat, the afterthoughts, after having prasad, they are coming from mercy of Krishna. So when we have discussed this, there's one more very important point to discuss. While we have now understood this what Krishna speaks from within, what he inspires from within, is very good for a person to come to the temple, to get in touch with devotees, to get in touch with Guru. But beyond that, it's a very risky business also. Well, we have to. There is no other way. And this relation with Krishna and what he's inspiring from within is very important. But there is a risk that you should know. What is that risk? Any guesses? What is the risk when Krishna is speaking from within and giving me an instruction? Well, that risk is that until we are liberated, our mind is not controlled. When the mind is not controlled, its voice is louder than the sweet voice of Paramatma. So you do not know whether it's a speculation of a mind that is coming, Arey, you are great, go do this. Or it's really an inspiration that is coming from Paramatma. We do not know that. And that's why, unless we understand what is in mind of Krishna on the basis of Shastras, on the basis of its application by sadhus and gurus, if we think that something is coming from within, it could be a very great risk for our spiritual life. So, one last one. How does Krishna reciprocate? How does he reciprocate? Okay, now I'm doing something. Maybe I go to Janmashtami once a year, I go take darshan. Or maybe I go every day, every morning. Will there be a difference? Yes. So how God reciprocates is through his precise mercy. Precise mercy means how much ever is my endeavor. Okay, you take one step, I'll take 1,000 steps. So he will multiply that and give you very, very precise mercy, which is 10,000 times what is worth of your effort. But if somebody is taking 1,000 steps, then the mercy is also equally, when I say equally proportionate, it is 1,000 times more, but different, right? It's not the same. It's not the same that one person is saying, I will become so adharmic, so sinful that Krishna himself has to come and kill me. That's a very nice way to see Krishna. Some people think that's very easy. And other person is trying to become a nice person. And we are saying, oh, is the destination the same? No, the destination is not the same. You know, when Krishna kills somebody, he liberates them into impersonal Brahman. So for a person who has not seen the spiritual world and different realms from a distance, to them everything seems the same. Oh yes, yes, I have never been to America, so everywhere, all the places in America are the same to me. But if you actually go to a counter, you'll realize that you can never buy a ticket to America. You can only buy a ticket to particular places in America. There is no ticket to America. So there are different places. So same ways, there's nothing called just, okay, spiritual world, I'll go out of this world. No, there are specific places where people go, and those who do bhakti, their destination is very different from where Krishna, if he annihilates a demon, where they go, right? So the reciprocation of Krishna is very precise and very just, very balanced. So, okay, in terms of Gyatma, do I understand? There's just one word. This is going to be a long class. Sorry, Prabhuji. But so, what we have understood by this is that if I want to have a stronger relationship with Krishna, there are certain areas that I definitely need to invest my time on. That is Shastras, Bhagavad Gita, relationship with devotees and Guru. When that happens, that is called Sambandha Gyan. We understand our relationship with Krishna, and it's very difficult to develop appreciation for a person whose qualities you don't know. So this knowledge essentially drives one primary factor, that you get to know how loving Krishna is, his gunas, his qualities. Then you develop some attraction. Arey, I haven't seen a person like him. Then you will develop that. Otherwise, it's only dragging for some reason, right? So knowing this brings us closer to Krishna. And Krishna says that those who are not deluded, they engage, knowing me, they engage fully in my devotional service. And so that brings us to the second part. This delusion was something that I was really meditating on up now. Those who are deluded, they don't serve. And I am not serving. So I should really go a little deeper and try to understand what is this delusion. What is the delusion? I didn't even actually, honestly speaking, I don't use this word so much. I didn't even know what the delusion word means. Okay. So I looked up and I found that delusion means when you believe in something that is not true. Delusion. So if you believe in something which is simply not true, like pick up that some person, he falsely thinks that he is the president of some country, then he is taken to the doctor and the doctor says he's mad, he's all delusional, right? So that is delusion in this word. So I'm not doing that. So, okay, I'm not that delusional, I understood, but there are different degrees of truths and there are different degrees of beliefs. I could put down several categories of different levels of truth, but in the interest of time, there are only two: material truths and spiritual truths. There is one truth about all material truths. What is that? That all material truths, they become irrelevant at the time of death. All material truths, they become irrelevant at the time of death. So imagine a situation, there is some big businessman, let's say Ambani, Mukesh Ambani, Anil Ambani. Their father was Dhirubhai Ambani. Now he died. Now he gets reincarnated. Now he's a 4-year-old boy. He goes to them. And he starts telling secrets to these two boys in privacy. Only their father knew and the two sons knew. And it is established that this boy is actually the reincarnation of their father. What will happen? Will they put him back on the seat? He has come back. Instead of his photo like this, they will put this kid's photo like that. He's the boss now? No, it will not happen. I saw some heads nod that it will not happen. no matter how much you have achieved materially in this world, at the time of death, it becomes all irrelevant, even if it is proven beyond doubt that you were that guy, So even if Mahatma Gandhi is born again, maybe he is carrying some Indian currency in his pocket and he has photo on it, he does not know. Right? This was me in last life. Right? So this is one truth which is the cause of delusion for us. Believing in material truth to be ultimate is one delusion. That this is all and all, this is everything. And that's why spiritual truth becomes very important in our life. Okay. Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 talks about different modes. In that, when it comes to tamogun, there are different degrees of tamogun, in which it is said that first it is madness. But if your belief in something which is simply not true increases more and more and more, then you get an animal birth. Because animal is convinced about, that Jivatma is convinced about some truth or something which is simply not true. That is animal species, animal yoni. And if this delusion continues to increase, the madness towards the flesh, if it continues to increase, that results in hellish conditions of life. So this is on the material truths platform. Now let's see the spiritual side of it. So to explain that part, we say that those who are not deluded, those who have woken up to higher levels of awareness, what they try to do? They try to wake others up. So they will go out of their compassion. They will tell this, Jivatma, Are Baba, please take up this message of Krishna. You will wake up to the reality, a higher reality. Then what happens? We start giving all reasons. Are, I am busy. Right now I have studies. Now I'm looking for this. Now I have a kid. Finally, I'm too weak. At the time of death, then, this becomes somewhat relevant for those who are fortunate that, what did I do with my life? So the ultimate definition of delusion is that people are deluded about the ultimate purpose of life. That is the delusion. What is the delusion? That I do not understand what is the ultimate purpose of life. None of these are wrong. None of these are incorrect. Everything is fine. But to consider that this life, the way it is going, is the topmost, this is the ultimate goal of my life, is the delusion. And that's why the goal of life should be spiritual. That is the message, those who understand this. This is like I start on this floor, right? Our life is like we are climbing on stairs. And we cannot go back. I cannot go back on the 20 years old once I'm 30. So these stairs, they only go up, and I'm going up and up and up, and there's a door on the top, and I'm on the way in different floors. I meet people, I get kids, this, that, everything happens. I reach that last door and I realize I don't have key in the pocket. I didn't carry the key. Then all this climbing, no use. So that key is the spiritual key of Bhagavad Gita that the Mahatmas, they come and they give. And so that's why I would like to take this example of explaining so that you clearly understand what's the difference between those who are deluded and those who are Mahatmas. It is said that life is like a continuous, it's a experience that is generated out of continuous choices, right? We are continuously making choices. And based on those choices, it is resulting in some activities. It is called karma. This karma is very temporary and its results are also temporary. So it can be compared to sand. These are daily activities in life. But there are some things that you remember, some accomplishments that you remember. They are like small pebbles. And there are some, and some of you may have heard this analogy, right? There are big stones, big priorities, spiritual priorities. So in a conditioned life, when I'm saying I don't have time for spirituality, my daily routine, which can be compared to a jar, because I only have this much limit, right? 24 hours, nothing more, nothing less. What people do is first we put all the daily activities in life, getting up, brushing our teeth, taking bath, this, that, going for work. Then I realized that I have to do this also, I have to do that also, so I fill those up. And then when somebody comes to me and says, hey, take up some time for spirituality, I'm like, sorry, I ran out of time. My whole day is filled already. Where would I put these big stones now? There's no space. Sorry. What do those great souls do? What the great souls do is, they first, the moment they wake up, the first thing they do is they put the big stones, the big priorities, the spiritual priorities, the sadhana, the practice, the chanting, the reading. They first put that in their life. Then comes, Are Bapre, oh, but yeah, I have to get my driver license renewed, my passport, my this, that, okay, all other important things. These are like small pebbles. And then everything else just gets filled up. Oh, the soul is now saying, I wish I heard this before. So now some people say, Are, I have seen this idea of spirituality. It is just too difficult, or the goal seems so far. So for this, we will see now the next part. Just a quick recap. Are you with me so far? Hari bol. So we started with Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. Okay. Gyatva, do I understand Krishna? Just the Gyatva part, not even Bhutadim and Avyayam right now. Then delusion. Who are those deluded souls? And then who are the great souls? The difference in the priorities. Great souls prioritize, right? And now we will try to see this, because it's very nice example. I will remember this, but how do I apply it in my life? So that clarity will come when we try to understand Devi Prakriti. Okay, so now we will see Devi Prakriti. For understanding Devi Prakriti, let's first understand Prakriti. Okay, you bought a laptop, Windows laptop, let's say, Microsoft. So you know very well that it exists because the company Microsoft exists, and I don't know the owner, but I know Bill Gates is very famous. He started it. So, okay, so there was a person behind this laptop which is in your hand. So Prakriti is also like that. Every time you buy a laptop, you should know that there is a company and there's an owner of the company who's behind that. That's how you got it. This is called effect and cause. Because you can see a cause in front of effect in front of you, you should know that there's a cause behind it, and that cause is very much a person only. Like this entire world is a manifestation from causal ocean, Karan Sagar, and you should know that this world has been created, the effect behind it is a person. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. If you will go deep, why this happened, finally you will find a person standing there. Yes, it was my plan, Microsoft. Now it's a big company. Okay, so like that. So same ways with Prakriti, first we will look at the effect of the nature, and then we will understand the person behind it. So effect of the nature is activities. In this world, you are interacting with this world continuously, and there are two types of activities. The first activities are a big category of godless activities. The activities when you are performing, you have no concept of God in that. They can further be classified into two. Very bad activities, very sinful tamogun activities. What happens in tamogun is that when you are doing these activities, there's no question of thinking that this can be a godly activity. Like you are drinking, or you are killing an animal and eating, you are, there's illicit sex or gambling. You cannot spiritualize these activities. You cannot say, I'm doing this in the name of God. No, if you will do, it will be delusion. If you think you do any of these activities and you think you are doing it in the name of God, it's delusion, because Krishna is telling in the Shastras against this. Right? So these activities cannot be made godly by any ways. These are darker. But there is a second category. The other two are violence and excessive laziness, but there are other activities. These activities, Srila Prabhupada says in chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, 99% of the people in this world, they do these activities. What are those activities? These activities can be made godly. But because we do not know about Krishna, we put ourselves in the center for that. That is called Rajogun. It is like a fire of selfish passion. So what is the goal of my life? I'm trying to make it better for me, my family, my career, my job, my ambition, my wealth, my this, my that, my. The entire direction of the life is about me and mine. Are you with me? Very good. So this is one track. This is one track of life. This track of life the energy that is acting and engaging with you is an illusory energy. And in Sanskrit, it is called Jad Prakriti. And you don't take shelter of Jad Prakriti. Jad Prakriti makes you a slave of it. So it's not Jad Prakriti Ashrita, it is Jad Prakriti Parayana. Do you know how this energy controls you? How it enslaves you, enslaves me, enslaves us? It gives us a feeling that we are in control. That is how she binds us. It is said that how Durga Devi, how she binds us. She has 3 ropes, and the ropes are such that we ourselves bind to them. They don't bind us. We bind ourselves to them. We feel like we are in control. My false ego is in control. I'm deciding. But the truth is, you cannot do anything in this world or cannot think of any subject unless you have heard it or known about it from association, Sangha. If I were to tell you that right behind my hand, I'm writing a word, this is a very bad activity which is done in Japan. You cannot imagine also, then what's the question of you doing it? Because you have no access to it. So the only things that we associate in this world and we do in this world are those that have come to us. And still we think we are the ones who are making the choices. So we do have a choice, and we have the choice of Sangha. Whom do we associate with? So we will come to that point, but Haribol. The second part is there are another category of activities, and these are godly activities. Godly activities, like directly, you take a plate, you get a plate, you put all the beautiful things in that, the best things in that. You know, what is the best form of earth? Flower. What is the best form of air? Scented incense. What is the pure form of fire? It is that ghee lamp. What is the best form of sound? It's the conch. So you bring all these, and whatever is the best, you offer that best to the Lord. That's an attitude, offering the best to the Lord. This is a godly activity. You offer the best bhoga to the Lord in terms of food, and then you sit down and you hear, about the Lord, and then you repeat Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. These are all godly activities. This godly activities, it has an after effect that you will continue to think about Krishna, and all these things which were so godless, but there's a possibility that they can be godly. That existence, because of the presence of Krishna, that entire thing becomes transcendental. Your work becomes godly, your property, your family, your charity, everything can become very, very godly. And this is the effective divine nature, Daivi Prakriti. Devi Prakritim Ashritaha. When one person decides that I will switch from that direction of life to this direction of life, this direction of life is Krishna, then you are taking shelter of Devi Prakriti by engaging in hearing about Krishna, in getting inspired, and then doing services that are directly godly in nature. Are you with me so far? Haribol. So Krishna says, Aham Sarvasva Prabhavaha. I am the source of all the worlds that you are seeing, all the resources in this world that either you engage in your own selfish sense enjoyment, then it's Jad Prakriti, or you engage it back to me. I am the source of that. And the source is like a seed. What happens to the seed when the plant is grown? The seed is gone. It is exhausted. The seed is exhausted. You put a seed and then you water it. If it fructifies, then there's a plant. But the originality, the existence of seed is gone. There is no seed now. But Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradah Pitaha. I am that kind of seed which never gets exhausted, even though everything that you are seeing has come out of me. And that's why this is the meaning of the other two words. Bhut Adim. Bhut means this world, and Adi, he is the source of that, but he is Avyayam, he is inexhaustible. So now we understand Krishna as Gyatva, I understand him, and when we know, when we realize that these are the two tracks in life, Gyatvam Bhutadim Avyayam, Devim Prakratim Ashritaha. Are you with me so far? So then there is another part left. The cause part is left now. So first, I have few more meditations on this, on Devi Prakriti, the divine nature. Somebody may say, I have a very sinful past. Actually, this Shuddha Sattva, far, far away, this divine consciousness seems like a very, very far goal to me. Well, you know what? It does not matter where we are. What matters is how much you have understood that I need to take a humble position in front of the Lord. So literally, if somebody has lived a very, very nice, godless life, very sattvic, no crime, no this, no hurting anyone, this, that, it's just that they don't have no concept of God, but they say, I'm very happy, I'm very satisfied because of whatever, I don't see a need to go to God, then that life, what's the use of that life? On the other hand, if somebody has had a very sinful life, but by coming in contact with the devotees, they feel, I am so useless, I have no hope. I can only stand in front of Krishna in humble mood and beg for his mercy. That's the success of life. So nothing against the sattvic, the point is, the most important point is, it does not matter how far you are. What matters is how intensely you can take that humble position when you stand in front of the Lord. Right? The progress on spiritual path depends on the intensity of our humility. How humbly I can come closer to the truth. Okay. So now I would talk about the cause. Who is behind this Devi Prakriti, engaging people in their service? The concept of that is, when we want to exploit the energy of Lord, you cannot exploit the energy of the Lord. She won't let you do it. When we try to enjoy the world, then Mother Durga is not very happy with that kind of attitude. So when Kamsa lifted this baby girl, daughter of Krishna, he saw Durga Devi. Devaki was seeing this little baby, little child. That same little child with this very bad attitude, Kamsa saw very angry Durga Devi. So Durga ji is not happy. Mother Durga is not happy with those who try to exploit her to enjoy themselves selfishly. So she punishes them with 3 modes of material nature. But when we decide that I want to change this, I want to serve the Lord, and whatever resources I have, I just offer it back to them. Or when I came into this world, what did I get? Nothing. So just like from Ganga, we take water and we give it, offer it back to her with that bhav. The same way, whatever I have acquired in this life, if I can pick it up and I can say, my Lord, this is for you, then what happens? Mother Lakshmi engages us in the service of Lord Vishnu. Mother Sita would engage us in the service of Lord Ram. And Srimati Radharani would engage us in the service of Krishna, Lord Krishna. So devotional service, that is the shelter of divine nature, Prabhuji was telling us, right? This protects us. This protects us from the onslaughts of Maya, which is our biggest enemy. Are you with me so far? Very good. So with this, I'm moving to the last part. We have talked about understanding Krishna and our relationship, the cause of delusion, the priorities in life of great souls. Then we saw Devi Prakriti, an entire way of life and a transformation of way of life, right? That's why when there's a transformation that has happened in someone's life where they have taken this path of reading Shastras, doing service. Sometimes we go out and we talk and we tell people, please read Bhagavad Gita, please take up to this. And they say, yes, I already read Bhagavad Gita. But because we have not understood that there should be an entire transformation of the direction of life, what happens is we even use God or his blessing or those messages in Bhagavad Gita for our own sake. In that Uparwala, that Jad Prakriti Parayana only. So then this devotee who has given his life to the service of the Lord, they can clearly see that, yes, he's saying he reads Bhagavad Gita, but he has not understood the message. Right? So we talked about this. We talked about Devi Prakriti, that there is a personality because of which all these things are manifesting in front of us. So with that, the last part is left. And that last part is that when one knows Krishna, he takes this shelter of Devi Prakriti, and then what does he do? Bhajantya Ananya Manaso. He is fully engaged in devotional service. So I just need 10 more minutes. Is that okay? Haribol. So in this, I would like to tell how we can make sure that we are fully engaged in the service of the Lord and attain the Lord by the help of one very important Shastra. Once in Jagannath Puri, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most merciful incarnation of the Lord, he was with his most intimate devotees on the shore of the ocean. When he saw the blue ocean, he immediately remembered the Shyam Sundar of Vrindavan. When he saw the trees and the sand dunes, he started thinking about Vrindavan and Govardhan. And then he went in ecstasy. When they brought him to the external ecstasy, to external consciousness, then he started giving some instructions. And Srila Rup Goswami noted them down. And he wrote them into what became famous as Shri Upadeshamrita. So this Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction, Srila Prabhupada brought it to us. Upadesh means instruction and Amrita means nectar. So Shri Upadeshamrita is a book of nectarian instructions for all practitioners of Bhakti Yoga. If you will go through this, you will understand what is causing any sort of hurdle and how you can reach that point where you can continuously serve the Lord and experience the Lord's ecstasy. So we'll go through some of this. Haribol. So here's a summary. It's a summary study of Upadeshamrita. There are 3 sections of Upadeshamrita. The first 2 verses are avoiding things. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopi Janvallabh Bhagwan ki. Shri Shri Nitai Patit Pavan Gaur Hari ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. So the first 2 verses of Upadeshamrita, they talk about some things that are not healthy for bhakti. So you try to avoid them. The next 4 verses talk about things that are favorable for bhakti. So you try to adopt them. And the last 4 verses, they talk about staying connected, staying in that mood, that bhav and glorification, which I would not be covering today. Because we are only talking about bhajantya ananya manasa, right? Being fully engaged in devotional service. What are the impediments? So for that, I have this 7-step process after which you can experience Krishna. Exciting? Haribol. Okay. So the first is there is a roadblock. First verse talks about a roadblock. And I will not talk about all the roadblocks, but there are urges. We have some urges because of our such a long conditioning and association with this material world that we have developed some urges. And the first urge is to speak on mundane topics. Okay. This will come so much that I will talk about it in the next verse. Let's look at others, the demands of the mind. Okay. Third, the actions of anger. Then once more, urges of tongue. So first was speaking through tongue. This one is eating. Urges of tongue, urges of belly, and the urges of genitals. These are the 6 urges, and we could save the discussion for some other day on these. This is just FYI. Moving on, the second part, there are other hurdles. What are those hurdles? The 6 activities that result in this. First, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Some of these are self-explanatory, so I would not go into that. Second, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Many times this happens with devotees also, Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to start a business, become a millionaire. And then all that millions of dollars, I will offer it to Krishna. But I am not a businessman. I don't have $1 million. And it would probably take 20, 30 years of effort, after which whether I'll succeed also or not, I don't know. If I succeeded, is there a guarantee that I remember that all this money I earned was I wanted to give it to Krishna? So this is called prayas, over-endeavoring for mundane achievements and thinking some way I can give this to Krishna, or sometimes not even thinking. So all these are hurdles towards our ultimate goal of becoming spiritual. talking unnecessarily about mundane topics. I wanted to talk about this because this is the most painful one for me. My only source of spiritual inspiration is the temple. And sometimes, because I have some way or the other, maybe not glorified the devotees or spoken negatively, or this class is so long, or this is so boring. Now, what happens is, even as soon as the class is over, that one thing which has inspired me and which can stay with me at least till next week, I kill it down by simply starting some mundane topic right after the class. So it's only because of some senior devotees I learned this, that, let's talk about what we heard, what we liked, Let's try to continue this a little beyond that class that we have heard. It becomes difficult if I go to a person and I complained about something about spirituality. Now my own false ego will stop me from glorifying this when I heard something new. So that means I create a hurdle for myself if I talk negatively about something, because now it will be very difficult for me to talk positively about this in future. It happens, pratyaksha. So there's another important point on this instruction, talking unnecessarily about mundane topics. What happens is that in house, I'm sitting over there, something is kept over here. I have no idea why it has been kept. But we should ask ourselves that question. Is it really, really, really very important for me to know why this thing is kept over here? If it is not, you probably don't need to know that. We have this urge to speak about things that are not important. And what happens is there's these mundane topics, right? Mundane things. Why is this? Why is that? Why he said like this? Why he did not say like that? Why he came? Why he did not come? They cloud your thought. These thoughts, they cloud your mind. And because they cloud your mind, there is no clarity. So when one starts this, not talking unnecessarily about mundane topics, then it is just like you are seeing a factory from the top, or like there is fog, and that fog starts dissipating because you are not producing more of these cloudy thoughts. So then you start seeing things differently. Like there's a term called smoking gun. You have to find which gun is, which gun is firing so that you can go and fix it, right? So there are 10 things that can cause problems or troubles in my life. When we try to reduce this fog of thoughts in our head, then you will start seeing the source of problems and miseries in your life. Then these, lessons of Bhagavad Gita, they would become applicable, where you would start seeing yourself different from sense and sense objects. It's a very difficult term. If you do not understand this, sense object is like gulab jamun. Sense is the tongue. And one spiritual thought is telling you that you are different from sense and sense object. You are neither the tongue, neither this, just see this as an interaction between the tongue and the gulab jamun. You are not that. How will that happen? That can happen when we stop this. Wherever it is not necessary, try to hold your words. Try to hold the urge to speak. This was brought up very beautifully by Prabhuji also in Bhagavatam class today, right? So, fourth, interesting? Okay. Improper application of scriptural rules. Rules are there. There are two types of people. Most of the people do not follow the rules because they don't know it. So we should get to know the rules. We should try to discipline our lives so that we can come to the platform of selflessness, reduce the selfish thoughts and increase selflessness, come to sattva, come to knowledge, how to do things the right way. But Krishna says that if these rules become so high, too high, then we become so strict that loving aspect of having devotion towards Krishna is lost. We are too lost in the rules only. So this is called niyamagraha or niyamagraha. So I thought I will bring that up. Finally, associating with worldly minded people who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. I would talk about this maybe on the next screen. Last, being greedy for mundane achievements. These are the hurdles on the path of bhakti. Third, 6 principles that one should follow. I would not spend more time on this also. Being enthusiastic for spirituality. Endeavoring with great determination. Determination is needed only when there are problems. When there's no problem, determination is not needed. So endeavoring with determination, being patient for the results. It would take some time for you to start experiencing the spiritual bliss. Acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparnam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Abandoning the association of non-devotees and following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Abandoning the association of non-devotees does not mean stop talking to people. Those who are not in bhakti, don't talk to them. No, it's not that. Association is a very precise word. It means I go to the office, I talk to my colleague, he tells me something which was not part of my plan. Something he says, oh, that is very nice, and I also develop a desire. Yeah, I will also go and buy it, even though I didn't need it. This is association. You're associating, you are getting inspired with someone, from someone, about a desire which has got nothing to do with spirituality. It has got nothing to do with you. You were not originally thinking about it, but you changed your mind and you went for it. Actually, when people read this, sometimes they say, "Arey, why we should abandon association of non-devotees?" But the truth is, I know so many people who are abandoning the association of devotees because when devotees ask them to do something, we abandon those thoughts. We feel bad that, "Arey, you are asking me to not talk, to not associate with people outside. Are they not good people? I would continue talking to them." But we do not treat the same way sometimes the devotees who come and who say, "Hey, please take up to Bhagavad Gita." Right? So abandoning the association of non-devotees is very important to move further towards Krishna, because sometimes their desires are not aligned with devotional principles, devotional goals. And that means you can be loving, you can be caring, you can be everything. And you can hear them out, you can be a good listener. But what would I do with my jar of daily activities? I keep control of that. As long as you keep control of that and you keep it spiritual, you are not associating with non-devotees. Even if you are with them from morning to night and following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, don't try anything fancy. Devotees are here, they are already practicing for years. Just follow them. Sometimes mind tells, "Sorry, I am different. I will do it some different way." And then this is the favorite point of mine. We have reached midway. Verse 4, 6 loving exchanges. Offering gifts in charity or to devotees. Accepting charitable gifts. Revealing one's mind in confidence. Inquiring confidentially. Accepting prasad and offering prasad. If you want to attain love for Krishna, you would be mistaken if you think that you can do so without first falling in love with devotees. Many people think, I come to the temple, I stand in front of the Lord, it's me, my Lord. Finally, one day it would be me and my Lord. Wow, perfection. No, it cannot happen. It should happen, and it can only happen when you come and you first develop love towards the devotees. And only through that you can advance further. Then what happens? Second, you should know that devotees are not of the same at the same level. There are different levels of devotees. So when you close, now you want to deal with the devotees, you should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord Krishna, Kanishtadhikari. The thing is, this devotee sees the Lord, but he does not know that devotees are also equally important. Their relations are also equally important to me. Offering humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation and is engaged in worshipping the deity, Madhyamadhikari. You should bow down in front of them. That's how you should pay your respects. And finally, associate with and faithfully serve the pure devotee who's advanced and undeviated in devotional service. Take inspiration from them, associate with them, see what they are doing, develop desire to do that, not what colleague says. Right? And whose heart is completely devoid of propensity to criticize others. Those are Uttamadhikari. So this is how we deal with the devotees. I'm moving quickly. 6th verse. Now the relationship is close. And when the closeness comes, what happens? You see the imperfections and impurities in others. This can cause a roadblock. What is that roadblock? Do not judge a devotee. This verse says a devotee may have some types of defects in their nature, like they may be harsh, or they are lazy, or they are ugly, or they have a disease, infirmity, or old age. But you know what wise people do? They know that river Ganga, Mother Ganga, sometimes in rainy season, it contains bubbles, foam, and mud. But those who are wise, they still go and they still pay obeisances to Mother Ganges, right? That is the position of devotees. Do not judge devotees. Do not find faults with them. Why? It will only impediment your own progress towards Krishna. Okay. There's another part to this verse. It says the same thing happens with pure devotees, but it's a totally different game. What happens? Some Mahatma comes, some Swami comes. Avoid offenses towards them. If you see a bodily defect, or a low birth, or he's born from this country or that country, or he's not Indian, or some material vision, or this, I was shocked and surprised, but it actually says accidental mistakes. Some accidental mistake is there. If we start judging a pure devotee, it is like suicidal for our spiritual life. Envying their exalted position, seeing something, some grand celebration was put for him, and we are feeling envy. Why? Criticizing, advising, or correcting. Many a times when people are in great passion, right, they would be like, oh, yes, Maharaj, oh, don't do this. You sit here. We don't know that we are actually criticizing or advising them what to do or correcting them. Or disciplinary action, I am a department head of some temple or this, that, and whoever does this, I go and tell them, hey, why did you do this? And then I saw Swami Maharaj came, I chastise him also. Big offense. So, offenses towards pure devotees should be avoided. And what is the positive reinforcement? Glorifying them. Glorifying devotees. Genuinely, not flattery, genuinely glorifying and saying good things, looking at good things and, talking about that. Now, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoy. Shravan Adi Shuddha Chitta Karaye Uday. This love for Krishna, the access that you have for Krishna, it does not require anything. All you have to do is by hearing about Krishna, understanding his nature, you have to get rid of the impediments on this path. That's all you have to do. Just get rid of impediments. And then what will happen? Hare Krishna is there. You start experiencing him. This is the end. This is it. Now, when you see this Krishna, right, when you hear about him, now you develop that, he's a very sweet person. Right now, we just keep saying sweet person. Do we feel? Yes, we feel a little bit. We want to fully feel that Krishna is such a sweet person. His names are very sweet. His pastimes are sweet like sugar candy. Because of our disease of this delusion, we do not feel the taste. So what is the solution? Like in jaundice, they say you drink sugarcane, you take sweet. Solution is daily treatment of hearing about sweetness of Krishna and chanting his sweet names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This destroys ignorance at the root of it. So last two, we are just reading through it and I am done. So verse 8, if Prabhuji, if you can read, this is the essence of all advice. Can someone read this?
That one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal constants, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees, who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
Jai. So that's the essence of all advice, that be engaged in devotional service. And then Srimati Radharani, as Prabhuji said, she is the mother of the universe. She is the origin of this loving devotional service to Krishna. The prema that with which Srimati Radharani serves Krishna, Krishna finds immense pleasure. And therefore, success of our life, the goal of our life, of our existence, is if we can also do that, execute loving devotional service under her. The opportunity to serve flows to us through her servants of the servants of the servants, Srila Rup Goswami, and then it ultimately manifests as a direct service to our Guru, to our temple, to the devotees in our lives. So I'm so grateful to you for your very, very patient audience. Please forgive me for going a little overboard. There are beautiful nectar of instruction books that if you would like to take, then they are right here. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving these. Hare Krishna. So I don't know if we have time for any questions or comments. Comments are very welcome. Questions, we can try a couple. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I have a small announcement. So whatever Prabhu discussed, Nectar instruction and Bhagavad Gita. So we have a pen drive, which is an audio book. And another audio book, the whole Nectar instruction. You recite it, you can play in your car, play it in the kitchen when you're cooking or anything. So we have a pen drive. So if someone is interested, they can.
So if there are any further comments or especially questions, then we can do it later. But I think we will stop here and go for Prasad. Hari.
Hare Krishna devotees, let us express our gratitude to His Grace Nam Prabhu by very loud Hari Bo. Request everyone to be seated for just 2 minutes. We like that. 2 minutes announcement. Just mention that Krishna is the most beautiful, right? Very important. And where did Krishna perform his action? Vrindavan. Yes, ISKCON Farmington is very happy to announce that Vrindavan Yatra this year. Vrindavan Yatra 2022. This Yatra will begin in December 24th to December 31st, 1 week. And who is going to guide us and take us? His great Jiva Kishore Prabhuji. December 24th, Sunday to December 31st, Sunday. So 1 whole week, basically 5 days, So it's going to be an amazing lifetime experience. So please register and you can give your names. No, they're going to Vrindavan, real Vrindavan. No, 1 week, maybe. But Saturday, Sunday is holiday anyway, right? So 5 days only we have to manage. That's what I mean. But for children, anyway, it's holidays. So it's an amazing opportunity. So please do give your names. Because after some time, the registration may have to close for so many logistical reasons. So please think about it. Wonderful opportunity. We have a great opportunity to give us the nectarian pastimes in Vrindavan while sitting in the place where Krishna performed those amazing pastimes. And we will have amazing kirtan, of course, wonderful prasad. Vrindavan, India. Yes. Vrindavan, India. Not Vrindavan. Coming with it. Thank you for confirming. Yes. Vrindavan, India Yatra 2022. Yes. So we have almost 2 months left. What was the last 2 years? I know you all are getting excited with that. We will be there. Yes. So please think about it and try to clear your names so that we can start with the registration and that we can follow through. And second thing, we also have Color Festival on September the 19th. It's going to be an amazing, colorful. Oh, sorry, 18. Amazing, colorful events. And those of you not registered, you can go to ISKCON Farmington the website as soon as you click. Before will appear, you see a QR code, you can register there. Or we have put a poster. You can use your phone to phone camera to scan that QR code. With that, you can register as well. And tomorrow, we just mentioned that there's going to be a discount price. It's already there, right? Open is already set up. Wonderful. So you can register for the Color Festival. Please share this with all your friends, family, everyone on WhatsApp, Facebook, all the groups. We look forward to seeing you all for all this. Thank you so much. It's all will be served. Yes, registration is per person. So please, you may have to do for all the family members. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki Jai.
Please take one. Hare Krishna. Thank you for all the kindness.
Anyone want the topic
From all the topics that we have had here. I like the way you organize that and just be there, No, it's more about perform an activity, good or bad. It's not everything in our hand or future. You cannot do anything. And we have done that's it. Ready. पहली फोटो राधा को भी चल सकती है ना फेसबुक से बताना है अब सुंदर
Oh,
Krishna will keep you wherever you are there.
Yeah, sure. Very nice.
Thank you for
For what?
your blessings. I begged for blessings in the beginning, they just can't happen.
You ask from devotee case, not from me, right?
Thank you.